I'm Jack, a 28-year-old working at an electrical appliance manufacturer. I met my wife, Emily, at work, and after a relentless pursuit, she became mine. Emily is a very graceful woman, adept not only in cooking but also in tea ceremony and playing violin. Her family is quite traditional, believing that once married, a woman should stay home and take care of the family. Without hesitation, Emily quit her job after marrying me to support me. Just having Emily's smiling face around brightens up our home. However, I had no idea that my happy days were about to crumble loudly one fateful day. I'll never forget, it was a summer evening. I was exhausted from dealing with clients all day, and was absent-mindedly walking in front of the station. Then, I saw a woman who looked like Emily walking through the town. Overjoyed by this unexpected coincidence, I was just about to call out to Emily in that moment. That's when I noticed a man standing right next to Emily. The two of them were laughing and chatting amiably. I couldn't hide my shock, it just couldn't be. Emily is introverted and I've never heard of her having male friends. It's impossible to think that she could be cheating. But I was severely shaken by the reality in front of my eyes and impulsively took a photo of them. Actually, it was a hectic day at work and I was supposed to go back to the office to put in some overtime, but at that moment, that was the last thing on my mind. Deciding to take the remaining work home, I headed straight there. Back at home, waiting for Emily to return, she eventually walked in, looking exhausted. She seemed startled when she saw me, but I didn't miss it. Trying to cover it up, she smiled and started talking.
Oh. You're home early today.
Her attitude felt hollow to me. So I decided to casually bring up today's main topic. Trying not to seem prying, I asked as casually as I could. So, where were you today? And then Emily said,
I had lunch with a friend today, and then stopped by the supermarket before coming home.
She probably did go to the supermarket. She was holding a shopping bag. It didn't seem like she was fabricating an alibi. While thinking about the man I saw earlier, I ate the dinner Emily made. Finally, when we had finished cleaning up after the meal, I sat down at the table, showed Emily the photo I took earlier, and decided to ask her about it. Actually, I saw you by chance on my way back from a sales visit today. Is this man the friend you were talking about? I took out my phone and showed her the photo. Emily, who had been smiling until now, froze. Seeing her reaction, I couldn't help but feel suspicious. I asked her directly, "Hey, is he really just a friend?" Perhaps realizing my inner turmoil, Emily suddenly came out with an unexpected explanation.
Oh, that's actually my brother.
I was dumbfounded by her poor attempt at lying. You have a brother? I've never heard about him from your parents, and he wasn't at our wedding, was he? I shot back, and Emily, while insisting,
He really is my brother.
looked down. Overwhelmed by anger at Emily's blatant lie, I finally burst out yelling. How dare you betray me like this? You have no place here anymore. Hearing my words, Emily started crying. All I wanted was for her to say,
No, you've got it all wrong.
Yet, through her tears, she packed her clothes and valuables into a duffel bag and eventually left the house. The situation escalated so quickly that I couldn't keep up. Our marriage was supposed to be happy, but in the blink of an eye, I was all alone. The fact that Emily left without making any excuses meant she was essentially admitting to her guilt. I never imagined Emily could be cheating on me. I wish I had never seen her with that man, it only dug my own grave. I was feeling desperate. and didn't know where she was. Just to be sure, I tried calling her parents' house, but they seemed to know nothing about the situation. Not wanting to worry them further, I hastily ended the call. A week passed without any contact from Emily. I knew I needed to talk to her, but I was afraid to face reality, so I threw myself into my work instead. There was no way I could talk to my coworkers about this. They noticed that I didn't have my usual homemade lunch and kindly asked,
"Hey, is Emily feeling all right?"
Their concern felt like an unwanted intrusion. I was becoming increasingly reckless. It had been 2 weeks since Emily had left. Returning home after another day of working late, exhausted, I was surprised to find an unfamiliar man standing in front of my house. At first, I was startled, but as I took a closer look, thinking he might be an acquaintance, I was shocked for the second time. It was the man who had been with Emily. Despite my obvious annoyance, he seemed to notice, and nervously started talking to me.
"I'm really sorry to bother you so late at night, but I need to talk to you about Emily."
Just as I thought. It was indeed that man, as I had suspected from the start. Fighting back the urge to hit him, I openly showed my wariness. The man was desperately trying to get through to me.
"Could you please just listen to me? I'm sure you'll understand."
Watching him beg, my anger started to subside. I didn't want to listen to anything this guy had to say. But maybe it was time for me to face reality. Despite my discomfort, I decided to listen to what he had to say. It was late, and I was mindful of the neighbors. I let the man into my house. He was humble, but seemed to have made up his mind to speak. Lifting his head, he began to talk all at once.
"My name is Alex Scott. Actually, I am Emily's real brother."
In that moment, I was furious, thinking he was lying too, but as I calmed down and thought about it, Scott. Isn't that Emily's maiden name? Was this man really Emily's brother? Noticing my surprise, Alex started to speak hesitantly.
"Actually, I've been disowned by my family. I'm ashamed to say, I got myself drowned in gambling and alcohol, and I wasn't even invited to Emily's wedding."
So that was it. I was slowly beginning to understand the situation Alex was in, and why Emily had been protecting him. Alex continued. Despite being forbidden to contact any family members, Emily had secretly been in touch with Alex. Thanks to Emily's support, Alex was finally able to cut ties with gambling and alcohol. He had decided to start living earnestly. Just when he thought so, it was discovered that Alex had developed cirrhosis from drinking too much. The hospital recommended immediate hospitalization. Alex, who hadn't been working properly, couldn't afford the hospital bills. Regrettably, he had to give up on treatment and was bedridden alone in his run-down apartment. Even then, Emily was worried and came to visit him. She used her savings from before she was married to pay for Alex's hospitalization. Thanks to that, Alex was finally starting to recover. But Emily had done even more for Alex. In fact, she had secretly started a part-time job on weekdays, without telling me. She was supporting Alex's hospital life with that money. Alex, tears in his eyes, appealed to me.
"It's all because I was so worthless. Emily did her very best to help me. She already has a new family, yet I've even managed to ruin her marital relationship. I'm truly sorry."
What was all this? I hadn't noticed anything about what Emily was doing. Actually, there were 2 things Emily had kept secret from me. The first was that she had a brother who was disowned. The second was that she started a part-time job for her brother. While listening to the story, I thought, That's just like kind-hearted Emily. She probably ran around looking for a hospital for Alex and arranging for living expenses. And somehow, I felt I understood why Emily kept silent about Alex's existence to me. Emily's family has been wealthy landowners for generations. Her parents are both very respectable people. According to Emily, they were very strict and passionate about educating their children. If her parents found out that me and her were helping Alex, who they had presumably disowned, it could ruin the relationship between me and Emily's family in an instant. That's probably why Emily couldn't tell me, and she continued to take care of Alex all by herself. The more I thought about how Emily felt, the more I couldn't hold back my tears. Alex was also sobbing uncontrollably. He must have been really grateful to Emily. He confessed to me,
I truly thought I shouldn't show myself in front of you. But I can't let Emily divorce because of me. I hoped at least you'd understand.
I felt a warmth in my heart. It seemed that Alex had decided to trust and tell me. We've cleared up the misunderstanding, Emily. I'm so sorry for jumping to conclusions. Please come back. I beg you. Let me apologize for my mistake. I silently whispered these thoughts in my heart. A few days later, Emily and Alex came back to our home. Emily sincerely apologized to me for lying. And from the bottom of my heart, I apologized to her for not trusting her. Alex deeply regretted causing such trouble. He said he should have reconciled with his parents. Finally, smiles returned to our faces. A few months later, Alex properly apologized to his parents for everything. He was forgiven and the disownment was lifted. As for Emily and me, we vowed never to lie or hide anything from each other again, and started living together once more. We are no longer strangers, we're family. I promise to protect Emily,